You know, what's going on at Zippo's? Recently put a loved one to rest in their final resting place, which really kind of sucked. But my dad's no longer in pain, so that's the important part. You know, got to drink pop. I'm not sure at what point across the United States you hit from east to west where soda becomes pop, but here in Indiana we call it pop. Well, what happened here? Well, we had an engine explode. Not literally. It's actually just fine. This engine came to be rebuilt, and I'm just waiting on the it's not a bad parts list. It's about 135, 140 buck part list, so it's not bad at all. I don't know if I've already gone through getting this beast rebuilt or not, but this is a 12 horsepower, which should be obvious to any of you gearheads who see these 6 parts right here. That is telltale. You've got a 12 horsepower dual balance gears, front and back. And you see here how it's got a counterweight there. Helps counteract the vibrations. And I'll probably go through it in other videos, but I'll just show you here. There is a screw right there. You pop that screw out and stick a pin in, and there is a hole. Let's see if we can get that picture of that hole in there. See that hole right there? Well, all you do is line that hole up with where this screw is at and stick a dowel rod in there to hold that in place, and then when you go to install the cover on the engine, that holds the orientation correct for that balance gear. But we'll go through all that when we throw the engine together. I still have a lot of sand on this engine. The individual who had it sandblasted the engine, and I do not recommend doing that. And I really don't recommend doing it, because I've already had this engine in the parts washer 3 times, and I still have sand in critical areas. Please just do a hot tank, degrease these things, keep sand. Sand is the biggest enemy in the world for these engines. It can just absolutely take a good engine and turn it into a hunk of cast iron that needs to go to the scrap heap. But anyway, this one's got the booster fan, flywheel. I do have some of the new parts here, but I've got to get the rest of them ordered. But anyway, there she is in all of her disassembled glory. We'll go through doing the different things, like this backing plate here that goes on this side is the piece that you use to put shims here to set your end play on your connecting or on your crankshaft. You're only supposed to have a certain amount of end play. Well, that's how you set that end play, is by, when you get the rebuild kit, you'll have a number of paper elements that you set on here so that you can set your lash, you can set your end play and your crankshaft going back and forth when assembling the engine. And we're going to have some new rings come in. The engine's going to get honed. You can see the valves don't look too bad. I'm still going to lap them. They've not been lapped yet, but they're good and shiny. I said valves, valve seats. The valve guides and valve stems themselves look really good. They're here in the bag. I've already mic'd or gauged the valve stem seats and the valves themselves. Everything is still in spec. So this engine has had a well cared for life, I guess we could say. Just a few things that I have to order are points plunger. What else was there? Yeah, all the springs for the governor linkage. I've got the governor arms and rods and all that stuff in here, and the carburetor linkage and stuff in there. And I have to source a coil. And what else? Just a full gasket kit. The full gasket kit is not that expensive. It's like 36 bucks, and you literally get everything. I get both seals for either balance gear cover. Both of those seals come in the kit. The gaskets for that, gaskets for that, gaskets for your positive crankcase vent, gaskets for, it does not come with a head gasket, but it comes with all of your other gaskets, oil pan gasket, the whole nine. Your small balance gear cover. Just all the gaskets that you need, it comes with it. So, oh wait, no, this does not get it. No, oil has to go through that. I take that back, I apologize. But, comes with all the gaskets. Anyway, that's just a part of what's going to be going on here at Zippo's. We'll get some pertinent information off of this engine as we go through the rebuild process, so that it may help some of you out there wanting to rebuild your own engine, including torque specs and things to that effect. I will say right now, just real quick, your torque specs on your connecting rod end cap on the cast iron Briggs is, I just helped a guy with it this morning, 190 inch-pounds, and it's the same for the head bolts, 190 inch-pounds. And it's important to note, after you get the engine together, you're using assembly lube through the whole process. Get the engine together, get break-in oil, put break-in oil in the engine, run the engine for about 5 hours with no load and varying throttle position. Don't let it sit in any one position for any length of time, because what you're doing is you're trying to set the rings with the cylinder wall. And that's why you do the honing, to get your crosshatch marks that help seat your piston rings. So after you get through your 5 hours, you want to remove the oil pan, remove the oil, clean the oil pan thoroughly, flush the inside of the engine. And this is just how I do it, because I want to be sure that any tiny little metal fragments and metal shavings, anything that may potentially come in and harm this engine later on down the road, is gone. Because the last thing that you use break-in oil because it's heavy and it's a non-detergent, and it lets everything settle to the bottom of the oil pan out of harm's way. But last thing you want to do is get metal shavings in your bearings here, or on your journals, or on your crank journal here, or connecting rod journal there. You want to keep all that stuff out of harm, all that metal out of harm's way. Never fails. Huh. That's my oldest daughter texting me. But anyway, there you go. Look for this build to be coming up in the near future. As soon as the parts come in, we'll start going through it. I'll show you my honing process and my valve lapping and all that fun, happy stuff, and then we'll go through the assembly. Assembly's not too bad. Obviously, it's just the reverse of when you take it apart. Ha! But it's remembering all that stuff that's the fun thing. Anyway, this is Zippo. I will catch you all on the flip side. Later. I'm out.